Hello, everyone. Welcome to Living and Learning. I'm Allison Kinnear. Every Wednesday at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, I jump onto Facebook Live and give a talk about living and learning. And today I got to tell you, I'm kind of fired up. I'm actually very fired up. I have no idea why, but that's all right. And I'm fired up about this topic of being with our emotions. We've got a problem here. We've got a major problem in our society, which is that anything that is an unpleasant emotion, our sadness, our anger, our fear, our shame, we just distract ourselves away from it. We stuff it and shove it. We compartmentalize it. We entertain ourselves away from it. We do all of these things to distract ourselves, to numb ourselves from feeling the feelings of sadness, of anger, of fear, of shame. We do all of these things to avoid that discomfort. And I'll tell you, it's a problem because those very same feelings, by feeling into them, by being with them, are the keys to get you out of them. And when we don't feel them, that's when we get stuck. That's when we get stuck in our lives. We get stuck in our depression. We get stuck in our anxiety. We get stuck in our relationships because we're not allowing ourselves to feel the discomfort, the uncomfortable feelings that are there and the discomfort that comes with it. And when we don't allow ourselves to feel our feelings, then it causes all kinds of problems. And I got to tell you, I'm going to be cursing in this video. Like I said, I'm fired up today, and I will be dropping some cursing here, because the thing is like when we don't allow that shit to move through us, then we just get all backed up. We get constipated. That's what happens. It is not pretty, and it is not healthy, and it is not good for yourself nor anyone around you. We have to find a way to no longer be afraid of these kinds of feelings. They're just a part of our human nature. And so part of what we have to learn is to be with them, to be with our shit and allow it to kind of move through us, because that's all it's asking to do. There's no way out but through. So we can't just say, oh, sorry, it's hard for me to feel this feeling right now. I'm just going to stop and stop you right there. And I'm just going to go and do this other thing. That might work in the short term, but that shit backs up. And eventually it's going to want to come through. And I'll tell you, I used to be a really, when I would cry, I was like, beet red, like kind of crier. It was just like, it was just wanting to come out, but I was trying to stop it because I was embarrassed, because I was ashamed, because I didn't want it to take over my life. I just wanted it to stop. But the thing that I realized is that the act of stopping that grief, the act of stopping that sadness, the act of stopping that fear, what ended up happening is I was just stockpiling it. I was just saving it for later. And it's interesting. Once I learned to kind of like release the pressure on that valve, then now, I mean, for those of you who know me, I cry a lot. And now I just say to people, oh, sorry, this is what I do. Oh, there's emotion. It's coming, because I've learned that it's actually safer for me and for everyone around me for me to just allow those tears to come and just be with it. And not overwhelmingly, not to be with it. I don't have to be with every single bit of grief, every single bit of sadness, but whatever is present, to allow it to come through. Because when I allow it to come through, then suddenly it doesn't have a hold on me. In coaching, we talk about you got to feel it to heal it. And that's exactly what this is. We don't have to try to shift our emotions. We don't have to try to control our emotions. We don't have to try to shove our emotions. We just have to be with it, to allow it. And so when we want to scream, put yourself in your car and just drive down the road and scream. When we want to cry, just allow it to happen, to cry. Even if it is in front of our kids, even if it is in front of our partners, even if it is in front of our colleagues. Hopefully that's not the case, but I'll guarantee you, if you allow yourself to cry when you're not in front of your colleagues, then you won't feel the urge to cry when you are in front of your colleagues. This is how we just allow it to be, allow it to come through. And I'll tell you, I love my dad dearly. We had a wonderful relationship, and we also had a very challenging relationship. He was an alcoholic, and that alcoholism really impacted our relationship. And when he died this past winter, I was very grateful that I had done my work. I had done my work around that relationship, because when he died, I was just able to be with my grief. And that was it. I wasn't grieving the shit that had happened in the past. I wasn't grieving the unspoken things that were never said. I wasn't grieving all the shit that was never dealt with. I was just grieving the loss of my dad, and that was it, which was enough. And I'll tell you, that's not the case for all of my family members. There are others who stuff it and shove it and stuff it and shove it. And this is what we are trained to do in our society. We are trained to, tune into the entertainment shows, and we're trained to drink it away and smoke it away and whatever else is our vice to numb that stuff out. And what ends up happening is that shit wants to come through, and it can be a life event. Somebody dies, a big change happens, you lose your job. Whatever it is, some big change can happen. And all of a sudden, not only are you triggering the stress of what you're actually in, you're triggering the stress of all the undealt with shit that's been backed up in you. And so I invite you today that if you have emotion that is wanting to come through, to just be with it, to allow it, to breathe your way through it, to cry, to scream, to do whatever it is, to just be with that emotion. Because little by little, all of that will ease up, and you'll be able to then just be with the stress of the day that is there, and not be with the stress of the day that is there and all the shit that came before it. So that is what I want to invite you to do. And I know I'm all fired up about this, but I see how it impacts people. It keeps you stuck. We do not need to be afraid of these emotions. We just need to be with them. They come with messages. They come with gifts. They come with blessings for our lives. And so we can just be with the emotions, allow it to kind of take over, allow it to be there for the minute or two that it's there. And then I guarantee you, you cry it out, you scream it out, you be with it. You don't try to change it or manipulate it or shove it. It will ease up on you. It will ease up in your life. And little by little, that pressure cooker situation will become something that you can just easily take the lid off of and not feel like that pressure is constantly there. That is my living and learning for you today. I invite you to be with your emotions as best you can, to allow them to be there. I write you a permission slip. I give you all permission to be with your emotions fully and not try to change them. And I will tell you, I launched something big this past week. It is my Boundaries for the Holidays class, because if there's anything that stirs up past shit, it is your siblings, it is your parents, it is your in-laws, it is maybe even yourself overcommitting. And so I'm launching my Boundaries for the Holidays class. It is to help you ease up some of that shit in your life and help you navigate it so that you're not blowing up or you're not shrinking down, but you're able to really, with a lot of integrity, hold boundaries that other people will thank you for. That is the work. We will be airing our shit and cleaning it out, clearing it up, so that you can move forward with the people you love the most in the most healthy ways possible. Thank you, Shara. Preach. I have preached today. Thank you, Charlene, for tuning in. I don't know what I'm talking to you about next week. I think I'm going to be talking about shit, actually. I think I'm going to be talking about this emotional shit that we carry around with us and what to do with it, because it impacts us. We think it doesn't, but it does. So, I leave you with that. I wish you a full week of living and learning and feeling, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.